called a terrorist and having aggressive behaviour towards me, I actually felt really scared.
They find it a very empowering experience. They're not dressing the way the magazines tell them to.
It is a big step. It does take a lot of courage.
It's often assumed that girls who wear the niqab are forced into it by their families. I met Asma, who started covering her face when she was just a young teenager at an all-girls school.
I was about 13 years old when I first started to wear the niqab.
Which is really young.
It is very young. I think I shocked a lot of people.
Including your own family?
Yes, definitely. I think my mum was in the biggest of shock.
Asma's mum doesn't wear the veil. In fact, none of the women in her family do, and that caused some controversy.
So do you think part of it was that whole teenage rebellion thing?
For a bit, yeah. It was like, okay, this is new, it's interesting.
It's different.
It's different. I don't think I actually understood the meaning and the purpose of wearing it at that particular time.
Right. So you didn't even understand the reasons fully yourself?
Girls like to find a character, they like to find a personal persona for themselves.
Veiling was practiced by many cultures before Islam, and that Muslims adopted it as a way of fitting into these societies. Today, they're accused of the very opposite. And yet many of the young women we met say they are, in their own ways, still simply trying to fit in, of finding a way of expressing the very British freedoms they're accused of undermining.
Enough about Islam will look at you and say, this is such a barbaric religion. She is being oppressed. She's being forced to wear it.
Yes.
I mean, what do you say to that?
A woman came up to me once and she said, "Are you being abused by your husband?" And I said, "That's funny. If you ask him, he might say that I take advantage of him a little bit too much."
What's that negative reaction been like?
You know, one time I was like walking in Walmart and I was, carrying a bottle of bleach, and so someone came out behind me and said, "She's going to make a bomb with that. She's a terrorist." A couple of times. But the really great thing was that the other people who would hear these comments would actually come to my defense.
20s came, he sat next to me. He goes, "Oh, I want to see your face," and I didn't say anything. So he put his arm around me, grabbed me, and tried to physically pull my headscarf and my face veil off. His friends had to come and pull him off.
The niqab, because obviously we've had the ban of the niqab in France and they're considering banning it here. How do you feel about that, and have you had negative feedback for wearing it?
I've had negative feedback, but primarily the feedback has been quite positive. I've not really, people haven't come and said awful things to me, but it goes over your head. People generally seem to be quite tolerant and quite pleasant.
But if they were to ban it in the UK, would you carry on wearing it?
Absolutely.
Non-Muslim women will spend a day wearing the full burqa. First stop, this city centre. It's just after 10 a.m. and the women immediately feel the weight of stares.
People are staring, seriously staring. I'm stealing yours.
I don't know how I'm drinking my coffee.
This guy actually walked past, turned around and had another good look.
We then take the ladies to a busy mall. All is well, then this comment from a passing man pushing a pram.
Okay, show me your licence.
Wow. I can't believe
Lovely.
you just said that.
Then a verbal attack from these seemingly harmless ladies enjoying a coffee.
You're very good.
If you thought I was real.
A lot of anger.
We can't see yours. Why have you got yours covered and they haven't?
Because it's my choice.
Your choice is right. Well, that's ridiculous. It's not in a free country then. Why are you so angry? Angry? Yeah. Side of you.
Well, for me, I think it's like to protect me from dunya activities, if you get what I mean. Because like when you don't wear niqab, and you wear hijab and you wear jilbab, you still have the temptation to look at a brother, or the brother still has the temptation to look at you. And like I see as like protecting yourself from the fitna and protecting yourself from temptation. Might as well wear niqab so you can protect others. Nobody's sinning because you're trying your best to avoid.
Obviously, the main reason that Muslim women wear niqab is because they want to be closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but also because I'm a young woman living in this kind of society, you kind of get fed up of wanting to look like what everybody wants you to look like so wearing certain makeup, wearing certain clothes, and alhamdulillah, Allah's already given me a uniform, so...
No, my mother doesn't wear the veil, and my family generally, they're very supportive. other cousins, they were quite shocked because I didn't really discuss with anyone that I was going to wear the veil. So I sort of just turned up at home and had the veil on. But they're really happy and, you know, very protective. And obviously they had their concerns in case I went outside and there was any verbal abuse or any
Nobody in
physical
my family
abuse.
wears the niqab, and alhamdulillah, by the grace of God, they've all been understanding. Yes, they had questions, you know, why are you wearing it, especially friends who are non-Muslims, they had questions, but when you explained to them, none of them had an issue because there never has been a barrier between me and my friends, whether they be Muslims or non-Muslims. Came here, the purpose was to earn a better livelihood and, you know, and make money and give a better life to their children. But now the thing is, we are born and bred here. And their aim was to, you know, was to come here, work, fit in with the society, and we are saying, hang on, we are born here, we are part of the society. I see myself as British. I'm so sure these sisters here see themselves as British. So, you know, 20 years ago, yeah, okay, fair enough, you wouldn't see a lot of people wearing niqab, would have been virtually non-existent. 5 years, 10 years ago, 1, 2 people wearing it. Nowadays, out on the streets, 10, 20 people.
I think it's up to the woman in choice, and I think as long as that woman has a choice in whether she wears it or not, then I think that's fine.
Not to wear it. You know, if it's their choice, then it's up to them.
If it's her own personal idea, like, she should be able to wear what she wants to wear, I think. Right? I think it's fine as it is at the moment. I don't think it should be banned.
Go for giving them the freedom to wear it. It's like, then that's like a dictatorship kind of feeling to it, because then you're choosing what people can wear and what not to wear. It's like, then what's next? I'm just thinking, what's next after that?
They shouldn't be banned, not at all. It's their religion, it's their faith and all that.
I'm from London, and I'm so used to there being people from all around the world and speaking different languages, wearing different things. You know, like why should somebody wear? You know, some people can walk along with a pink hat. It's the same as wearing a veil to me. So I think that, you know, as long as we're all peaceful and happy and respectful of each other, I think a piece of clothing shouldn't dictate whether or not there's a problem or not.
I'd probably say that, you know, if I were wearing clothes, like if I was dressed as a punk rocker and people were giving me funny looks, I might think about how I dress and dress differently.
No, I wouldn't. I would just embrace the way I dressed. So you have to just, we are different to each other. And this is my daughter and I'm mother. And so there is, I mean, everything is all right, really.
If you believe strongly enough, you're not going to give a damn anyway.
So that's your message, yeah? Thank you very much.
Would I react very strongly if somebody wore a veil? No.
You know, we have to look at what does Islam say? What are we told to do? And bypass the culture and practice what we're told to practice.
Why do we have to have the need to explain ourselves? If someone who doesn't wear much clothing can go out freely and not have to explain why she wears a miniskirt only or why she...
But the people who actually helped me went their separate way, I went my separate way. And at that time, I didn't realize that Islam wasn't like Christianity. So I continued my career, and then one day something changed. When I went to the model agency and produced my portfolio, I just had a change of heart. And I said to the woman across the desk that I no longer wish to be a model because I'm now a Muslim. And that was actually the beginning of me starting to practice and making that transition in my life. And subsequently, I met other Muslims. And then the road to my being as I am today, it's a long journey, but it's quite a fulfilling journey. Wearing clothes that revealed my shape, my form. Now, I was getting paid to do this. Men, women could look at me and think whatever thoughts they wanted to. What Islam has taught me personally is to have this sense of morality, a sense of self, a sense of worth. I've chosen to cover like this to protect me.